So let's start with the self-organizing chapter. In some companies, they call it sustain. I prefer to call it self-organized, because it's not only about sustaining whatever you are improving, but it's also about continue improving and continue improving the way the team works. Usually when you are doing 5S, you are part of a team, maybe in your family, maybe with your coworkers, but you're always having someone else next to you, that and that it's always could be a problem or could be something for good. So you need to make sure that through self-organization, the team is able to work better together and achieve a synergy that allows you to work even better than if you were just alone on your own. So that's why we need to focus on how we can work on the team level to maintain the reference up to date, on the individual level, how to sustain what we have achieved. Each of you maintain the habits, the new habits that you have learned, and the improvements that you've done. And then how you, on the leadership level, you can promote continuous improvement, always set objectives and long-term expectations for your teams, and be the example. So again, uh, for everyone, even for you, Eddie, if you are not very much organized, it was the same for me. I was not born organized at all, but 5S helps you, give you some tips so that you can organize much better, so that you can keep the things that you need in order, and that you are an example also for your family. Like me, being a working mother, really 5S has helped me a lot, because it helps the whole family to be part of the organization of the house. It's not that I clean everything, but I make sure they know what happens if something is dirty, how each person has to clean whatever whenever something is leaking or there's some kind of problem. Everyone knows where to put things. Even my little kid, she's 6 years old, and she knows where to store things. She doesn't even want anybody getting to her rooms that is not messed up. So yes, it's a way that it enables you to work better in teams, and avoid, in the long term, you should be able to clean less, because you are solving a lot of problems or a lot of obstacles that you find in your day to day. So what happened with this S is that it's the most difficult of the S. This is where many companies fail to achieve 5S. Why? Because again, changing habits is about behaviors, it's about human beings. And human beings are always resistant to change and are willing to go back to the previous situation. So maybe for a couple of months, you make your employees put the tools back, or draw all those big boards and put in all the shapes for the tools, and then in 2 or 3 months, forget about it. They are not doing that anymore. They just, they leave, and they leave all the tools unattended over the table. So it's not impossible. You only need to be patient. You have to be persistent and disciplined. Not everyone has the same pace. Some will take longer, some will do it faster. But again, remember that we talked about the birds and the termites, trying to, and the fish, following each other to behave in a certain way. So whenever you see other team members or other teams in other areas organizing, that is contagious, and it helps everyone work the same way and worry about cleaning. It's like the train in New York. Whenever you see something that is dirty and you see it all the time, you feel like nobody cares about it or nobody cares about you. But whenever you see something clean, you tend to keep that room or that restroom clean. So that's why we need to insist a lot on little details, small details. Cleaning is part of our daily task. That's what everyone in the team needs to understand. It's not something for another group is for everyone. Even supervisors or managers are part of cleaning their own areas, their office or whatever they is under their responsibility. If it gets dirty, you clean it right away. If you have a leak, you clean it or you try to solve it. Everything we use, we put it back. We keep signs and procedures updated. We keep things as is. Whenever you found something, you keep it away or you improve it, but you never leave it in a worse condition. And if a rule doesn't apply, it must be changed or canceled immediately. Whatever you do needs to be documented the right way. Otherwise, we find examples like this. This is a picture that I took in a company where, yes, they had a sign, they were trying to implement 5S, but what can you see in the picture? What's happening?
There's stuff stacked around, and you have stuff even in front of the sign, so you can't see the sign, and so it's giving the impression that 5S is not a big deal. It doesn't matter. It's just there, but we don't do anything about it.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. And when employees see this happening, they consider like, well, so nobody cares about this sign, nobody cares about 5S, so why would I care? Whether in a company where the 5S is really ingrained in the company culture, whenever an employee see this, oh, they would feel embarrassed and they would try to fix it right away. They wouldn't feel fine about it. When the company feels fine about this, it means that 5S has not been implemented the right way. Really, 5S is about culture and change, and you will be able to see it. If this happens after 1 year of implementation, it means that it didn't stick. They need to work harder. It's all about sustaining the habits, practicing it, and repeating to build the habit. It's just like someone in sports, like the best basketball players. I don't know if you watch on Netflix the last movie about the basketball player that was playing for
The Bulls. Are you talking about Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, you watch it?
My
No.
brother has raved about it, but no, I saw a little bit of it once.
Mm-hmm. So what it says is that Michael Jordan at the very beginning, and I have read in the past, but then when I watched the movie, I said yes, it's the same thing. He wasn't good at basketball actually, but he got so good just because he kept practicing. He was the one in the team that was practicing the most. Even he was the leader, he was there to set the example. He was always playing hard and practicing and practicing and practicing, and that's the way he improved. Even for some time, for a year and a half, he left basketball and he started playing baseball, and he started being good at it too because it's the habit, it's the way he works, it's the way he practices. He's so disciplined that nothing is blocking his mind. He just keeps doing it. All right. And the reason why a lot of people or a lot of employees start with something, start improving, and then they stop is just because they find a barrier that they don't get rid of that. So one of the micro steps we're going to talk about that is how to make it seamless so that they can keep improving. The first micro step then is making a micro change every week, respecting and following all the procedures. So help your team members to follow the procedures, but also if they see a change, just to make the change. Make them what I would say that they can propose a small change every week, like maybe painting a machine, or adding a procedure here, or adding a label there, or replacing a tool that is broken. That is a micro change. Again, if you can make them make a micro change every week, just one each employee, you're gonna get hundreds of changes every year. Could be small things like keeping the tools in one place, or organizing, putting labels. This actually was a workshop. They were cutting, they were doing many things that were super dirty, and they were able to keep this clean. And this was a place where a lot of contractors were getting in, so they didn't have much control over those contractors, but somehow they taught them how they need to behave in this room. And then they all started to label each of the cabinets. They put numbers, they put names, they put numbers for the machines. Look at this machine. It's painted, it's clean. Look that they are not using them. And believe me, they are using them. They were using everything, but they were having pictures, diagrams, a cleaning schedule, all type of things, so that everyone that gets in there, even a contractor that maybe it's not trained on 5S, understand how it works. Whenever they use the machine, they need to clean, and whenever they use a tool, they have to close the cabinet. All right. So what I recommend is that you map a process for employees to keep registering all the improvements that they propose. In some cases, they can make the improvements easily. Let's say they find trash on the floor, or they find something that they need to trash, maybe they can do it right away. But some things, maybe they need to tag them, or they need to dedicate some time to clean them. So I would urge you to give them like a board or something, so that they can write down their action plan. They can have a paper action plan, like in this case. You can see the date, the sector where they have to improve. It says here what needs to be done. Finding is the air gun. And then the what needs to be done, find a home for the air gun. Who has to do it? MA. When they define a date, when they plan to do it. So this is a way to make them, hey, plan for the future. A lot of employees are not ready, or not, they don't practice to plan for the future. They just expect team leaders to tell them what to do. So if you really want to empower them, give them a tool so that they can manage their time and write down all the things they need to do. In many companies, sometimes they are super busy, and in some cases, the machines are broken, and they just cannot continue working, and they don't know what to do. In some cases, they just tell them, just go home. In other cases, you can use them, hey, why don't you use this time? Go to your action plan, see what you can do, and start working on that. Whenever you have that plan and you have prioritized what you have to do first, it's make it easier for you to follow and do all the fixes that you want to do. So what I would like you to work on right now is to write an action plan. Go to your spreadsheet. I'm gonna open it right now. Okay, let me see. So this is the action plan. This is a template. If you go to the platform that I will give you access, you will also have a template right there that you can use with your employees. So the idea here is that you use this tool to write down all the ideas, all the findings, all the things that you want to improve. You have the date here, you write down the finding, what you need to do, who is responsible for doing it, when it's done. You can have it, put a date here, and any extra information like it's delayed because of such and such, or I need something else before, or I need approval, whatever. And then you will have here the owner. Remember, what I would do, if you can separate all your areas with owners, whenever you have an owner, you give them an action plan, and he writes down there all the actions that he needs to do in that area. All right. So I want you to practice this, because sometimes you have questions and you don't realize you have the question until you use it. So try to find out right now what kind of findings you would fix in your workplace. All right, take 5 minutes to fill this out. Give me 3 examples, and whenever you have the 3 examples, you report it out. Any questions?
And that's on the action plan?
Yes, this is the action plan. Yes, on the action plan.
I don't see it on the spreadsheet.
It's the first sheet in your spreadsheet.
Okay, there it is.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, this is an action plan that you can have as a leader, but also each of the employees should have for each of their locations. All right. So that this is something that they own and that helps them improve a little bit every day. Every line would be like a micro change, a small thing that they can improve. Right? Any questions on the spreadsheet?
No.
No? Okay. Take 5 minutes to fill it in. Okay, Brian, do you want to report your part?
Yeah, see if I did this right.
Mhm.
For the date I put today, for
Okay.
the finding, I put a dirty bench.
All
What you
right.
do?
Excellent. The date is the date where you find the finding, okay, when you
Okay.
start reporting it. So it's fine.
Okay. And then what you need to do, I put clean workbench, responsible, I put Joe, whoever. Done,
Okay.
I put completed, and extra info, I put pump on bench, move to Connex. So there was something on the table that didn't really belong, and they're noting where they put that pump.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. What else?
I only did the one. Was I supposed to do more than one?
Yes, 3 if you could.
Okay.
Eddie, you have any item? 1, 2?
Uh, yes, I would say, I mean, I filled out on the bottom that simple thing, I think it was. Anyway, on this one here, the finding is that my desk is cluttered with sticky notes.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to do is come up with a method to transfer that information into a file that I will put into a habit that I would check that file every day. You know, because my concern is that if I don't have it on sticky notes in front of me, I'll not do it. So what I need to do is create a file and make a habit of checking that file. So I'm responsible. And the extra info would be that make sure I have the notebooks and the time at the end of I would say at the end of the day, transfer any notes that I've made and put them into that file.
Okay.
Um,
Excellent.
Another finding is just the notebooks that they tend to end up on my desk. And what I need to do is create a spot for those notebooks that is convenient to get to, because one of the things that prevents me from putting the notebooks away right away is I need to get up and go over and put it somewhere. So what I need to do is find a easy location for the notebooks. And the third one, what was the third one? The notebooks, was um, I think that was it. I combined the sticky notes um, with the folder.
Okay, I see that you got it. It's super easy to fill in. Sometimes we're kind of lazy, and sometimes we don't want to fill, every time everything that we do. But if we can make that a habit and make employees do that, it would be great because you can track improvements and you can show them, hey, you have done these many improvements during the month, or this is how we are advancing. So it can help to boost the morale too. Again, you can make this more simple, or you can do it online. You can use also, as we said, Asana to help you track things that you want to do, or Trello. So you can find different things. But what you need to do, as you can see for all your comments, you always have to say one of the S's. Maybe one is sorting. You need to sort that. Or you need to store it in a different place. Or you need to standardize the process. Or you need to clean it or find a way to paint it or something like that. Okay, so there's always something that related to the essays that you need to solve. And the finding usually has to do with the three principles. Maybe it's because you cannot find it in less than 30 seconds, or maybe because it doesn't look like brand new, or maybe it's because it doesn't have a home. All right, so that's how you need to think about it. All right, any questions?
No.
Okay, excellent.